Good evening. So great to have you here. I'm Laura Painter.
And I'm Chris Thomas. We do thank you for joining us here on the ABC10 app.
Tonight, for the first time in its history, hundreds of teachers with the Natomas Unified School District are preparing to strike tomorrow morning, leaving parents wondering what's next.
Yeah, ABC10's Roxanne Elias is live in Natomas with more on what both sides are saying tonight. What's the latest, Roxanne?
Well, Chris and Laura, I just heard back from the union president, and he says that they have not heard back from the district. So at this point, it is official. They will be at the picket lines tomorrow morning. Now, this comes after they were supposed to have a meeting at 9 this morning, but he says it was canceled around 10 last night. And so after speaking to all parties involved, going into tomorrow, these last few hours are feeling tense for the Natomas Teachers Association, the district, and parents who are worried what's going to exactly happen tomorrow as those 600 teachers walk off the job.
We're all wondering and left in the dark, and the district has not provided any clear communication whatsoever.
Parents of Natomas Unified School District students say they're anxiously waiting as a teacher strike looms over their heads for Tuesday morning. Jaleigh Tor has two students at Paso Verde School.
Many parents are concerned, worried. We are especially worried for our students' safety. We're not sure if the district is actually going to provide enough supervision for students that do attend school.
Good morning.
On Monday, Superintendent Robin Castillo and Micah Grant, the president of the Board of Trustees, urged families to prepare for potential disruptions, but said curriculum and meals will remain in place.
We're standing at a very serious moment in our school district.
She says after about a year of negotiations, they have a strong offer on the table, following the fact-finding report that she says found what's reasonable within the fiscal realities facing the district.
The proposal includes a 4% salary increase, meaningful improvements to health benefits, and the option for a fully funded health care plan.
What do we want? Safe schools! But the union president says the offer is misleading and unfortunate.
We have asked for 4.5% and 4% over 2 years. Their 4% is actually 2% this year and 2% at the middle half of next year. So, if you do the math, that's not 4%.
The union also claims NUSD has 35 to 40 million in budget flexibility and ongoing new funding, and the resources to prioritize students and still have millions to spare. But the district states meeting their demands would have impacts on district programs, resulting in cuts to student support services, athletics, and other activities.
It is a prioritization choice. The fact they spend millions of dollars on consultants and contracting out, that could be spent on keeping permanent staff here, hiring qualified staff for our classrooms. So it's not about cuts. It's a choice that the district is making.
Today, I asked the superintendent directly how the classroom will look once these teachers strike. She didn't give details on any exact plan, but she says they are committed to a safe and secure environment every single day for these students. She also says they have the staffing in place for strong programming as all of this happens. I'm live in Natomas. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
And keep in mind, this is indeed a developing story, so stay with us for updates as we learn more. Roxanne, thank you.
A strike continues at Twin Rivers United. Today, educators agreed to go back to the bargaining table after a request from Assemblymember Maggie Krell. The strike started last Thursday. The dispute centers around pay increases, health benefits, and smaller class sizes. The district says they already have a fair contract on the table they are ready to sign. The California Teachers Association says the strike will continue tomorrow. Meanwhile, in West Sacramento, educators at the Washington Unified School District have voted to authorize a strike, but they can't walk out until a legally required fact-finding report is finished. That process starts with a hearing set for March 17th.
Well, strikes continue across the Middle East today as the conflict with Iran is now in day 10.
The Pentagon also identified the 7th U.S. service member killed in the war. ABC's Olivia Rubin has the latest.
U.S. and Israeli airstrikes continuing to pound Iran. These airstrikes on an airbase captured by a passing vehicle in videos circulating online. Today, the Pentagon identifying the 7th U.S. service member killed in Operation Epic Fury, 26-year-old Sergeant Benjamin Pennington from Kentucky. Officials say Pennington was wounded on March 1st during an Iranian attack on a U.S. military base in Saudi Arabia, an attack that wasn't previously disclosed by U.S. Central Command.
If you are the praying type, and I certainly am, I hope you'll spare a prayer for the 6 souls that we lost, for the 7th soul who will be coming home tonight, and for all of their families.
But President Trump vowing to continue the fight.
We're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete. We've wiped every single force in Iran out.
The big question now, will President Trump send in U.S. troops on the ground? In a new interview with the New York Post, the president saying he's nowhere near a decision, indicating there is still much to go in this conflict. Overseas, Iranian state media reporting the son of the assassinated Ayatollah Khamenei has been chosen to succeed him, despite President Trump's demand for unconditional surrender and to be involved in choosing the next leader. Supporters of that new leader today gathering in the streets of Tehran to celebrate. Israel, though, saying the new leader is a target. Meanwhile, the U.S. says it's intercepted encrypted communications believed to be from Iran, which may serve as an operational trigger for sleeper assets outside the country. The government now warning law enforcement to increase monitoring of suspicious radioactivity, though right now it says there is no operational threat tied to a specific location. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Olivia, thank you. Still ahead, pain at the pump here in California. Lawmakers agree something must be done, but a new warning has some refineries threatening to leave the state.
Plus, a big step for healthcare in the Central Valley. UOP is pushing for a brand new medical school, what they're asking from the city of Stockton.
The big story is going to be about the heat, how close we'll be getting to 90 degrees.
Welcome back. Congressman Kevin Kiley says he's changing his party and will now be seeking re-election as no party preference. The change means his name would appear on the ballot without a party affiliation. Kiley cites gerrymandering and increasing partisanship for his reasons for the change, adding the political divide in Washington made him frustrated and disgusted.
I've always said I'll be an independent voice for our district. I'll always put the district that I represent first. I'll always answer to my constituents and not party leaders. So I will be the sole independent member of the House of Representatives.
Kiley currently represents Congressional District 3, which includes Placer and Nevada County. He's seeking re-election in District 6, which is heavily crowded with Democrats. We'll have more from Kevin Kiley coming up tonight at 6:30 on To the Point.
Amid soaring gas prices nationwide, Californians continue to pay the most in the country for gas. There's no disagreement that something must be done by lawmakers and the governor, but the disagreement is on the how. This comes amid big news today. Another major California refinery is threatening to move out if state regulations don't change. Just this afternoon, Marathon Petroleum Corporation, which operates the largest refinery in California in LA, became the latest to oppose proposed amendments to the state's Cap and Invest program, which used to be known as Cap and Trade. Cap and Invest allows polluters to pay for credits to continue operations and offers consumer rebates, but the proposals would entail fewer permits for higher fees. Marathon joins PBF and Chevron in threatening to pull out of the state. All these corporations argue California refineries are already among the most expensive to operate nationwide. And if the cost of operation continues going up, they cannot stay in California. Democratic and Republican lawmakers say something needs to be done.
We already expect refineries to leave 5, 10, 15 years down the road, but we're going to see them leave even sooner.
I think CARB needs to pull back on some of their proposals that they have for astronomical increases in fees. This is not the time to do that.
California refineries argue they cannot compete with foreign importers who are not charged under Cap and Invest. California is also increasingly reliant on imports from the Middle East and Asia. We'll have the full story on the concern coming up on ABC10 News at 6. Happening now, Stockton City Council members are deciding whether to submit an application for a new medical school. University of the Pacific is asking the city to partner with them in building the facility. Officials with the university say the new school would expand care access, address a shortage of physicians, and create new work and education opportunities. The total project cost is estimated at $150 million. And just into our newsroom, Stockton City Council just voted 5-0 to approve the grant application for UOP. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras will have more on the story coming up on the news at 6. In the meantime, I'm seeing those beautiful scenes of the campus there. We're seeing beautiful scenes all across our region. Spring feels to be here, though not official on the calendar just yet.
Yeah, but enjoy it while we can, huh, Monica? It's about to heat up out there.
I know, we're kind of in that perfect phase right now on the beginning stages of that warming trend. Once we really dig in deeper, it's going to be quite toasty around here for this time of year. If we were talking summer, we'd be saying, oh, goodness, it's cooling down, but not this time of year. Lots of sunshine, warming trend, and near record highs ahead for next week. That's going to be the top 3 things that we're tracking. That storm track is so far to the north of us right now, so really not a lot of precipitation. Now that the rain band that you're seeing there in parts of Southern California, that's all part of the equation that brought us the gusty winds on Saturday. Now that that's starting to move its way southward, we're left with just that dominant ridge of high pressure, sinking warming air, and some pretty toasty temperatures. These are solidly 10 degrees above average. 76 for Sacramento. That's going to be the warmest that we've hit all year, and just 2 degrees shy of tying the record that was set back in the 1800s, believe it or not. Brendan Minchef and I were just talking about how many records in the 19th century do we have left yet, and that's one of them. All right, temperature trend here, 75 degrees Saturday and Sunday, average high 65. So again, 76 for today is going to be the warmest that we've seen so far this year, and that's pretty much standard throughout the valley. Stockton at 75 right now, Modesto 74, Marysville 75, Tahoe 58 with our sunset, not until 7:07, so we still have some time to enjoy this. Once we get past really about Thursday, Friday is when this ridge of high pressure is just going to bake much of the west coast, including parts of the desert. Southwest is going to be sinking, warming air, really bumping that storm track far into almost Canada at this point, and that will result in dry weather throughout the west as well. So just kind of setting the stage of what we're expecting. We're going to be near 90 in the forecast as well as 80, and we we usually don't see those types of temperatures until the beginning of April, and we usually don't see our first 90-degree day until the beginning of May. So this is well ahead of pace, which actually stays in place through much of the middle and almost the end of March, with a likely warmer and likely drier weather pattern across the entire state. Highs for tomorrow, close to 50 up top for this year. And now those morning lows are still quite cool, right around 30 degrees. For the foothills, we're looking at highs in the 60s to near 70. And for the Bay Area, mid 60s, low 70s for the Delta. A little bit cooler than we were for today, just by a couple of degrees. But this is going to be it. Tomorrow's going to be the coolest day that we see in our 10-day forecast. And those temperatures are still about 5 to almost 10 degrees above average. So you can kind of see what's happening here by the end of the week into the beginning of the weekend. Temperatures are steadily warming once we get past Wednesday, and it goes up from there. We continue to follow that trend through the weekend. Highs in the low 80s. So again, this could be our first 80-degree temperature on Saturday, certainly by Sunday and into early next week. Not to mention, we could see our first 90-degree temperature on St. Patrick's Day. Right now we're forecasting about 88, but some of the weather models are bumping it up to 90, so we'll be watching it.
So you wouldn't be surprised if we break a few records, huh, Monica?
Oh, certainly not. Yeah, because records this time of year are in the upper 70s to lower 80s, and with this type of heat, we're really going to be not only just flirting with tying them, but solidly breaking them.
Wow, we'll see what this means for the coming months ahead. Fire season as well. Time will tell.
Yes.
Monica, thank you. Next at 5:30, from an airport layover to a marriage proposal. How a couple's relationship blossomed thanks to a Chili's restaurant.
Plus, a pretty big masterpiece is getting a makeover after it started looking a little, shall we say, dull.
It's one of the most romantic moments of a woman's life when a man gets down on one knee to propose.
But he needs to know when and where to pick just the perfect moment, even if it's inside an airport.
And not just at the airport, but at a restaurant that has stood as the pillar of their relationship. ABC's Danny New has their love story.
Where do you think would be the most romantic place to get engaged? Because for Robert and Sarah of Austin, Texas, the answer is the Chili's inside Chicago O'Hare International Airport.
How did you guys meet?
At a Chili's in the Chicago O'Hare Airport.
This proposal took place about a week and a half ago after the couple landed in the Windy City. Robert had coordinated with the airport and restaurant to have a red carpet, roses, and a cellist waiting for their arrival.
Was the cellist playing
Chili's, baby.
I wish.
The reason for this location dates back to June 16th, 2023, when Robert was getting drinks here with coworkers during a layover and Sarah was charging her phone. Sarah struck up a conversation with Robert and eventually asked for his social media. However, Robert says he's not so great at knowing when a girl is asking him out, so
I gave her my LinkedIn and then get on the plane and I land and I have a message from her in my LinkedIn with her phone number.
Classy.
You gave your future wife your LinkedIn?
I did.
Despite the rather professional information swap, they hit it off and were soon making a point to dine at Chili's restaurants all across the country together.
Why was it so important you guys keep going back to Chili's?
Because we met at a Chili's and it's hilarious.
But one Chili's always stood above the rest, and when they arrived at O'Hare's 2 Fridays ago, a crowd had formed as a slideshow with pictures of them played on the restaurant's TVs. In fact, the chef had even left 2 of the chain's signature Presidente margaritas at the seats where they first exchanged LinkedIn info almost 3 years ago.
I figured I could use a beverage and I could charge my phone. I need to find an outlet, and I met the man of my dreams.
Also, if you're wondering, yes, Chili's has reached out to them, and Sarah says Chili's has actually offered to pay for their honeymoon. I'm sure they were going to spend it at Chili's anyway, so this works. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
I think it's so cool that she's so down to earth about it and taking it all in stride. And how nice of the airport to really help facilitate that.
Oh yeah, they pulled out all the stops. I have to say, it's when you actually see the story, it's much more impressive than me just being at a restaurant, right? But I do want to know if an onion ring was the ring. I should have done that, right? I like the cello.
know, right?
Yeah.
I loved him asking that she played the Baby Back Rib song
that was
too
a good
for the whole
one.
thing.
Missed opportunity, but we forgive him. We forgive him. Coming up, a masterpiece getting a makeover. Why Michelangelo's The Last Judgment is undergoing a rare cleaning and what left the iconic work needing a little freshening up. Coming up new tonight on the news at 6. An environmental issue raising concerns. Local officials are worried it could have a ripple effect and lead to economic problems. Coming up at 6, details on invasive mussels spotted in California.
But first, it is one of the most recognizable works of art on the planet, and it's now being cleaned. Take a look. Michelangelo's The Last Judgment is getting the first cleaning and restoration since 1994. It comes after a buildup of residue left the vibrant work's colors dulled. Officials say that residue was caused in part by the breath and sweat of the millions of people who visit the chapel each and every year. Now, that moisture created microparticles on the work's surface, resulting in a buildup of what we're told is calcium lactate. And so now a technique is being used, as you see here, with pieces of paper to restore the iconic work to its former brilliance, huh?
And I have to say, it is extremely brilliant and beautiful. My husband and I went there to Italy for our honeymoon. It was just a major bucket list item to see this in person.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised to hear that all of that sweat and perspiration and respiration is having an impact. I mean, if you go in the summer, the room is packed. Hardly any of these ancient buildings have air conditioning. And there are people out there who even yell at you to tell you not to take photos or anything like that. So I'm not surprised that they're very protective of this masterpiece.
Makes sense, huh?
Okay. Absolutely does. Thanks so much for joining us. Watch us anytime, any day on your schedule. Just download the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. See you next time.